Good morning, everyone. I hope that you have brought your coffee or tea or cold drink and to join us today for Mavens of Motivation. This is our Monday motivation, and we have some things to talk to you about. We're kind of excited, and we want you to share this with your friends and with your family. Click the like and share button. Do all those wonderful things for us. Help us out because we just want to brighten people's days, and so that's what our motivation is, and to bring you a little bit of information and how to navigate this world in a better way. I'm Carol Henderson, and I have Life by Design, and I help you to design your life to be more the way you want it to be, and that can be done. Okay, we want the second half of your life to be better than the first. And so that's why we have our podcast of Monday Motivation. And we also have the Aging Experts. We have some other things over there that are a little different than what we do here. And then our Thoughtful Thursdays on this channel, we bring different people to you that have ways to change your life, make your life better, and to just enjoy life and live full out. Okay. Yes. So this is my co-host, ABarbaraEllison. We just love coming together and doing this each day. So I want to introduce her and bring her on board. Welcome, Barbara.
Hey, well, of course, it's because you love me. Anyways, but you know what? Okay, yeah, I'm ABarbaraEllison. I'm the founder of the Wellness Playroom. Because wellness is about so much more than just not being sick. Mm-hmm. It's about living as Carol says, living your best life, being the best ever version of you, to have wellness in your relationships and wellness in your physical body, wellness in your wealth. Because you know what, when we have, it says in the Bible that we are blessed to be a blessing. So when we are blessed in our, let's talk finances for a little second. If we are blessed in our finances, we can bless others out of the overflow. And that's what God means for us. So that's where I'm just really excited about all the things that are happening now in the Wellness Playroom, a couple of new programs that I've got going, and just really excited about. But you know what? It starts with motivation. What are you doing to motivate yourself? Right now we're in summer and it's hot. So does heat impact your motivation? And sometimes you have to deal with both of them. Okay, so I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. Here it's getting hotter, and it's getting hotter in Chicago. We're expecting 90 degrees and humid this week, which is okay. I'll handle that. I'll be inside a lot more. The only trouble is when I'm inside, the air conditioning is so cold. I sit here in jammies and blankets and turn my heater on. I go outside sometimes to warm up. And so that it's that when you have such drastic changes of temperatures, like we looked up some of the temperatures that, if you're depending on if you are Celsius or Fahrenheit, you're like 108, which is where Carol is right
now.
That's
what I've dealt with this weekend, 107 and 108. And I was outside doing a garage sale. I'm not a big garage sale fan, but I had so much really good stuff to get. We've been doing purging our shed, purging our barn, purging the basement from, having years. Kids come and go for years. Yes. And so I have all kinds of really good stuff. And so we've been doing that, but it was 108 degrees. We did open up the barn, let people come in there and shop. And we do have a air conditioner out there. It's a water cooler, swamp cooler is what we call them. And it was markedly cooler out there. But still, it was hot. It was a
Right.
hot day. And, when you're in that 108-degree weather, it drags you down.
Yeah.
And, it does affect your motivation, and multiple days of it really affects your
Right.
motivation. In setting everything out, we were only at about 105. Now, isn't that something? I was only 105.
Right.
So,
Right.
but yesterday was, or today, it's only supposed to be 101. And we're like, it's only going to be 101. Now, how
Right.
is that for at mindset and attitude? Uh, yeah,
Exactly.
big
Exactly.
difference, big
So
difference. Before it's like, oh God, it's going to be 101.
exactly.
Thank
And
God
you
I
know,
have a basement that I am sitting in now in the cool.
right, right. And and cool is relative, but so is our mindset. We can choose.
Yeah.
We can
Yes,
choose. We
exactly.
can exactly what you just said. Oh, it's so hot. Or you know what? Yeah, it's only 104.
Yeah.
That is a shift in your mindset because it can be on either side of it. So
Yes.
like with
Yes.
me, I'm in Chicago. And one time as a friend of mine, I said, how do you handle it when it's 103 and 105? Because she lives in Houston. And she said, well, we stay inside. It's the same thing that you do when it's 40 below. And it's the truth. But it's all in. So it's either, oh, I can't believe it's 40 below out there. Or, hey, it's only 40 below.
Yeah. Bundle up and
It's
go
a
play.
bundle up and go play. It just takes longer to get ready.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. And the thing is, though, that mind shift is, and like one of the things that I really work on now with my clients is that changing that mind shift, that having that mind shift, it can shift, shift,
Thank you. Thank you. I was like,
shift, shift.
of course, it could be that in some
It could,
cases.
but you know what? Exactly. Freudian slip.
Hmm.
Anyways, but when you can move from the mindset, have a mind shift and get into mind flow, that is where your motivation can come from. Because summer is going to happen, winter is going to happen. How are you going to handle it? So find the things that motivate you.
Well, and I've said so many times, even on this show, it's like what you say today is what you're
Right.
building for your life tomorrow and in the
Tomorrow.
future. If all you do is moan and complain, you're on that spiral down. But if you find the good in everything, and I want to
Right.
say there is good to be found in every person
Right.
and good to be found in every day and good to be found in every circumstance. Now, it may be really, really bad on the surface, but
Yeah.
if you look, you'll find. Or, I mean, the most unattractive person could walk up to you. And we even, I'm going to tell on myself, I'm going to be vulnerable.
Hey,
I
I
used to
love
do a
it.
lot of events.
Right. Because
Where
you
we
were in
would
the
have
talent and modeling
I was in
agency,
the modeling
talent,
talent.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
had
did a lot of events.
models and actors and stuff that I trained, that I placed all over the world. But we would also do events where that we would have a table there and people would come by and talk to the girls and guys and get information to let people know that we were around. And then the girls also worked with other people when they would have, whether it was nonprofits or whatever, they would do that.
Yeah.
But I was really working with them on mindset or on kindness and finding the good in people. And we had somebody walk up that was very tall, like a 6-foot person
Mhm.
in spiked heels on top of the 6-foot body frame. And they were going, okay, here's your test, Carol. What good are you finding for her? Okay. And they're working their way down. We can see the person coming. We were kind of in a corner where they would turn. And when she walked up and everything, and I just said, I absolutely love your bracelets.
Right.
And she goes, oh, thank you so much. Now, it was a case if you had to look and choose, um, you had to choose to find what was good. Visual. I mean, I didn't know her. I mean, never seen her since. But, I mean, I'm sure there was many things that I could have found good about her had I had time to visit with her. But this was just a quick, on the surface example for my girls. And so, and they were going, oh, you did. You found something. She said her bracelets were beautiful. Her outfit looked great.
Coordinated.
It was not quite appropriate for her.
Right.
And so it was not something that we could go to. You can't give a fake compliment. Okay.
Right.
They will know it. They will know you. They will feel your heart. They'll hear your false words. So you have to make sure that they are genuine comments. And so, it may take a little bit of searching your heart and thinking, where is this person coming from? And it could be, oh, you have the most beautiful eyes. Because some people just have those stunning, beautiful eyes, and nobody ever tells them. You see people, and you don't realize that no one compliments them. People do not compliment each other now. I don't think it's much. We don't look up from our phones long enough to
Right.
to really stop and think. But a smile. I've said this before.
We say it all the time. Smile.
And it starts a ripple. I can smile at Barbara, and then she'll smile at the next person, and they'll smile at the next person. And it's just exponential that it grows like ripples in a pond. And so it's the same thing with a compliment. If you can go and say something nice to somebody, give them a compliment, be a blessing to them, it's going to just flow out into the ripples of the pond. And the more you can do that, if every one of us on the planet, even if just the ones of y'all that see our show, but if everybody on the planet would do one compliment a day.
Yes.
Oh, my stars. Think how that would change the world. Literally.
Right now, one of the things that I'm doing is a new course on positive intelligence. And I've mentioned it before.
I've heard a little bit about this. You're going to love that.
Positive intelligence. And it is absolutely, we can impact the consciousness. We can raise the consciousness of the planet with positivity, with happiness. And I have to admit, back 7 or 8 years ago, when I first got into that, I want people to be happy. I want, and I started researching what brings happiness and what brings joy and all of those things. And that God just put on my heart that this is what I need to be doing. And people would say to me, oh, Barb, people don't want to hear about happiness. Yes, they do. And it is becoming more and more and more. Businesses and universities. Like last night, we had a prayer meeting at it was a community at church last night. And one of the things that one of the pastors stood up there, and I'm living next to a university town, DeKalb, Illinois, Northern Illinois University. Go Huskies. Anyways, and one of the things that we were praying for is that NIU will become a campus of faith. Because that people come from, surprising, until I moved out here, didn't know. People come from all over the world to come to NIU. All over the world. So what happens here in my county can impact the world. Where are you living? What is, when you can raise the consciousness of your community?
And what are you doing to raise
that
consciousness? Right. What are you doing to bless the people of your community and draw others in, draw them into faith. And because I mean, people out there are they're struggling. They're
Right.
struggling. And I think it is more evident since the shutdown.
Yes.
More people had time to think about their lives. They had to look at themselves because they couldn't just stay busy with work because work wasn't. And so I think a lot of things, well, I know a lot of things have changed just in this last, couple of years.
Yeah.
And they say the suicide rates are through the roof, especially with young people.
Mhm.
They don't have a purpose. They don't have, and so we need to reach out. We need to be kind. We need to be nice. We need to help people find their purpose because
Right.
we all have a reason to be on this planet.
Right. Right.
Every one of us was given a job before birth.
Right. And and one of the things, a friend of mine, he's a sales coach, and one of the things that he says is that what have I like he talks with his clients about what have you learned from past experiences or from can't talk today, past failures. What have you learned from them? That because we've all gone through stuff.
Right.
But what did we learn from our stuff? And then once you take what you have learned from your stuff, you can teach other people how to help them go through the same stuff that you went through. They're just doing it now, but you've already come through it.
Exactly. You're a pathfinder.
You were like Christopher Columbus. Okay, let's go back. Let's go way back. Christopher Columbus. They tried to mutiny, and he said, "No, we can't. We've come too far. We can't go back. We have to go forward." And yet, and here we are today.
Well, and just
Look
even
at what Roger Bannister, broke the 1 minute mile. Everybody said it can't be done. Well, when Roger Bannister did it, and then what? Within a few months.
Yeah. 4 more.
Within a few months, 4 more people did it.
Yeah.
And now running a mile is.
Yeah. Well, it's like, when you say when I said Pathfinder, I thought immediately I live on the plains. Okay. Yeah. And the people who crossed this country, we live in the US and crossed this country, and Barbara's going to get to see some of the far-reaching broad skies of Texas soon. And it's like miles and miles that you can see and not see a building, not see, they have put up a few high wires, but up until 2 or 3 years ago, you could look for miles and not see high lines. That's why so many things were filmed in this area, because it still looked just like it did back when they were crossing the prairie.
Right. And that's what a few years ago, my daughter-in-law and I, we drove from Chicago out to Bozeman, Montana. And we literally drove across Utah.
Yeah.
Utah? Yeah, Utah. Oh, brother. No, South Dakota. We drove across South Dakota. Across South geography, not my strong. Drove across South Dakota. For the first little bit, it was like, oh yeah, wow, isn't this nice? Then it's ever going to end. And thank the Lord that we had the presence of mind to fill up our gas tank. There is not much there.
Yeah. Well, for me, I have a 45-mile drive into town, and there's not a potty stop. No gas station, no potty stop, no nothing. So yeah. And there have been times that I would leave Amarillo, sometimes from Fritch, but I'd leave Amarillo and wonder, I don't have a lot of gas, and I would stop and fill up, and it turns out that we would be detoured all the way around over, a big detour. I mean, a detour here is like 30-40 mile detour or more. And
Right.
so it's like, oh Lord, thank you that you had me fill up my gas tank, because I would not have made it if I had just tried to come in on fumes and fill up here at home.
Right. Exactly. And so now we're back to, what does this have to do with motivation? Well, take the things that we've just talked about, those little funny things in your life,
Mhm.
those little instances in your life. People like to know that they're not alone, that they have it, that someone else has experienced what they've been through.
Mhm.
So yes, we're talking about, in some ways inconsequential things about filling up your gas tank, but you
Yeah,
know
but
what?
if I
Fill
hadn't,
up
it could
your
have been really
emotional.
consequential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be consequential, but
Yeah.
and so that is a life lesson in itself. Fill up your tank.
Amen. Your spiritual
Be-
tank.
Fill up your spiritual tank. And you know what? One of the things for me is that I really had to realize that I'm in the wellness space. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I talk wellness to people. You know what? Because so many more people will hear about wellness because they have a need. Then when you can share with them that you have a way to help them with their need, and whatever that is, me, it happens to be wellness. Okay, so I can help them with their wellness, find out what your people want or looking for, what they need. But then if you are a person of faith, that's when you can bring them to church.
Mhm.
Yay. It's a win-win. If they don't come to church, that's okay, fine. You're still impacting their
And they may
life.
just meet Jesus. I mean, church is a part of it, but it's not the end all be all. I mean, they can meet Jesus, and then he can take them where he wants to take
There
them.
were no church. What I started to say, we're going across South Dakota. There was nothing there, and people literally walked across South Dakota.
Mhm.
And that was part of the Oregon Trail. It would take them 6 months.
Mhm.
We did it in 22 hours.
Yeah.
22 hours from Chicago to Bozeman.
Yeah.
22 hours.
And they walked
And
nonstop. They yeah. Yeah. They didn't have restaurants. They had to walk all, I
and
think, wasn't it about
they didn't
20
have
miles a
churches.
day? Wasn't it about
Oh,
20?
a good day was
Yeah.
20 miles.
Yeah.
A
And so that
good day.
or
Some
less.
days they went 5 or 10,
And after
depending on the
walking
oxygen.
all that distance, then you had to stop, you had to build a fire, you had to get your cook pot out, you had to cook.
Yeah.
Uh, they didn't have restaurants, they didn't have somebody cooking for them. Each little wagon did their own meal.
Yeah.
Uh, and right there, I'm thinking, there goes my entrepreneur thing. It's like, you should just do a chuck wagon and hire on to the different trails and charge for the meals. And, and I'd say 90% of them would have taken advantage of it, even
Right.
for a fee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That,
There's
that,
always
that
way.
if we ever go back in time, that's what we'll have to do is
Yep.
have a little traveling restaurant.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite things. One day, I can't remember how it came up. I said, you know what? Even if you like to go out for a walk, become a dog walker. There are so many people out there that would love to have you walk their dog.
Yeah, they just
In
don't
fact,
have time.
but because they don't have time. And if you're just doing, like my sister, she used to like to run at night.
Mhm.
And but it was like, yeah, let's at night, but she loved it. And so a friend of hers had a huge dog. Well, guess what she said, can I borrow your dog? So the dog loved it because that dog went for a run. Debbie had protection. She could go, and the owner was ecstatic
Yeah.
because the dog got exercise,
Mhm.
Debbie got protection, and it was the melting of
Yeah.
two needs.
A
And
win-win
that's where business,
situation.
and so
Win-win.
that's where motivation can come in. Find your win-win with someone else.
Yes. Yes. We are built to be community
We are
people. I
built
mean,
to be
we are
community.
we are not to be solo out in the world alone. That is
Right.
not how God made us. We are communal beings. And I don't mean communal in the communist sense of,
Right.
everybody owns everything and nobody has to do anything. It, but communal in that you're blessed to be a blessing. You share what you have willingly, not under compulsion, and
Right.
other people share with you.
Right.
You go run
Exactly.
somebody's dog because you want to run. They're letting you have their dog for protection, and the dog's going, yippee.
Hey, the dog's the way. And
Yeah,
she did
that
that
was
for you.
that was win-win-win.
That was win-win-win. The dog got exercise. Yeah. And she did that all the time. And because she so if you have, so this is our tip for the day. One of them anyways. If you have something that you really love to do, who else could benefit from what you love to do? Our business coach, she says, it's like, who is upstream from you and who is downstream from you in the river of life.
Man,
And the example that she uses all the time is a florist. If you are a florist, well, what kind of people hire florists? Well, wedding event planners, weddings, all of those things, churches, they hire florists. Okay.
funeral directors.
Funeral directors, exactly. Find a joint venture with what you do, either who could use your product, and then who can you send on your product to somebody that also needs it or something similar. It's a win-win-win. So that is how we want you to look at motivation. It's not just about you.
Right.
It's about who you can impact.
And when you get
with
into
what
the
you do.
flow, you get motivated. When you're
Exactly.
in your flow, when you're doing what you love,
Yeah.
you get into your flow. And when you're not, there's a stream of life, and every one of us has a stream we're supposed to be in. Now, those streams are all going to connect in the big river of life. But if you're I can't swim in an accountant stream because that ain't me, baby.
Not mine, no,
Okay.
you not me.
But everybody has their stream and everybody has their niche. And that's why on Thoughtful Thursdays, we bring other people on, is so
Right.
you can hear from other people, because we may not be your niche, but they might be. And we can connect you with somebody who can rock your world in a good way.
Exactly.
And that's our motivation, is connecting people and bringing you to a better life. And so, that's part of what floats our boat.
Because it comes back to me. I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than
to
the
help you
exception.
design your life.
And Carol wants to design your life, but we can't know everything ourselves.
Mm-mm.
We can't. And so why
and we
not?
Don't want to.
And I don't. Yeah, it's yeah. I have enough trouble living. Not enough trouble. It's wrong sentence. Changing my words.
Yes.
And
yes.
changing my words.
What you say today is what you get.
What's what I say today, and I do every day when I wake up. It's thank you, Lord. Number one, that I have breath. If you have nothing to be thankful for, be grateful for your 5 senses. And if you're missing one of the senses, okay, fine. There's a gift in that. Just, yeah.
Gratefulness is the ultimate.
Gratitude
is the you can do. It's just like finding something good in others. You can find something to be grateful for in every day. Even if it's that the sun came up and that you've got breath in your lungs, because it can leave at any second.
Yeah. And my thing is, thank you, Lord, for indoor plumbing.
Amen.
Always for indoor plumbing, that I can go into my bathroom and turn on
running water. Yeah.
Running water. Wow. I'm going to tell on myself. I can remember my mom. We had a wringer washer. She literally had to fill the tub.
Mm. I think my next door neighbors
for
did.
the wash.
I know they had a wringer washer, but I think that if I remember right, they had a hose from a sink that went into the
Had a hose from the sink. He
Yeah.
had to fill it, and then she would have to empty it out and get rid of that water, and then fill it again for rinse. And you don't rinse just once, and then she would have to wring the clothes. It was like, oh brother. I look back now, and so you talk about being motivated. Yeah, I don't, and I'm going to tell myself I don't buy anything now that's not permanent press. And in order to, instead of ironing, I mean, there are now dryer sheets that you can throw into the dryer with your clothes, and it revives them. Oh brother.
Well, and I can remember my mom, we would take the towels, take the clothes out. We'd put them in the dryer and dry them. We had the most wonderful dryer, and most of my friends still hung clothes out. I loved to do that at their house because I didn't have that. But our dryer had a UV light in it. So they smelled like they came off the line. Oh, what I would give for that dryer today. But we dry the clothes over there, and then we would sprinkle them and wet them and roll them up and to iron.
Now, them.
There were, if you ever got behind on that, your clothes would mold.
Get mold, yes.
Or get mildew. I don't know which
mildew.
One, but anyway.
Mildew.
But anyway, and so my mom was a teacher. So, there were times that she didn't have time to get all the ironing done, because it was a process to iron back then, and put the starch into the rinse and all of those things.
Yep. Oh yeah, you had to time. Yeah, you had to time it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to put all that in there. But I can remember us not getting all the ironing done, and we'd throw the clothes in the freezer. And it works. It works. And then we could go pull out what we needed to iron.
Yes. My mom, I can remember getting out frozen clothes. It was like, just how silly is what the way things have come. But you know what? So back to motivation for 1 second, is somebody talk about motivation. Find a need. Like when the people that designed washing machines, then dryers, and now they have laundromats. That all came from people being motivated to help other people live a better life.
Well, and not to mention a washer that you can go push some buttons and it does the whole process.
Does the whole thing.
And then there are those also that will wash and dry in the same machine.
And
they have those like in motorhomes.
And all you do is add the additives in, and they each have their own slot. Whereas before we used to have to time it. We go put softener in the wash machine, and it was like, oops, sorry, mom. Did you forget to put and then so that was another thing. And wow. So
and look at where all we've bunny trailed today.
Bunny trails, we went everywhere today. But you know
I
what?
hope you enjoy our bunny trails.
The thing is, though, I truly believe that people we talk about what people are meant to hear.
Yeah.
And if one thing stood out from you today, then we have done our job.
And put comments down in the comment section, because we don't know what we don't know what we don't know. So put the comments, what you want to talk about, what you want to hear, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, any of the places.
Replay.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know and share with your friends, please. And we will see you Thursday on Mavens of Motivation, Thoughtful Thursdays. And also check out our The Aging Experts. It's another page and another podcast where we talk about different things. So thanks.
Have an awesome week.
Yes. Be motivated.
Be motivated.